So today, guys, we start our discussion on Module 2, which is all about financial statements analysis. For today and for next meeting, we're going to use this. And then next meeting, we're going to use another spreadsheet. So we start with let's have a brief background, a brief review of what you have learned so far in your accounting. Of course, you cannot do financial statements analysis if you don't understand what financial statements are. So brief review, guys, quick review. What have you learned about, what are the different financial statements? Okay, sandali lang ah. Yan. What are the different financial statements, guys? Okay, thank you. Owner's equity. Okay. We say, guys, that the financial statements are the product, this is the end result of the accounting process, di ba? Pinag-aralan nyo yan, yung mag-journalize kayo, etc., magpo-post, etc. So the end product of that is to generate financial statements that's needed by several parties. Kailangan niya kailangan niya ng investors, kailangan niya ng government, kailangan ng lending companies, etc. Okay, so you mentioned here, thank you for mentioning this, no? So meron tayong balance sheet, sulat ko na muna to. Balance sheet. Okay. Then I see here income statement, that's correct. Income statement. Then also statement of cash flows, cash flow statement. Then I saw a while ago, I think, yung equity. Ayan, okay. Statement of changes in, okay, statement of changes in equity. Okay. Now, pag corporation, guys, statement of changes in shareholders' equity. Okay, to distinguish it from pag sole proprietorship lang kasi, pwedeng changes, statement of changes in capital or statement of changes in owner's equity. Pag corporation, shareholders. Take note also, it's S apostrophe. S apostrophe. Ibig sabihin, maraming owners. Shareholders' equity. And a part of this is also called the statement of changes. Kasama dito sa statement of changes in shareholders' equity is a statement of changes in retained earnings. So pag nakita nyo to, guys, nakakita kayo ng balance sheet na FS na ando dun yung shareholders' equity like common stock, corporation yan. Unlike kung sole proprietorship lang or partnership. And then, thank you, Sophia, no? So, sinabi ni Sophia na yung panglima, you have the notes to the financial statements. Okay? So, lahat to, guys, kailangan to in order for us to fully appreciate or better appreciate a company. So, ibig sabihin, guys, yung FS na kukunin yung dapat audited para meron yan, no? Balance sheet, income statement, statement of cash flows, and kung hindi nyo makita yung statement of changes in shareholders' equity, okay lang. Pero kasi pag audited, guys, makikita nyo rin tong notes to the financial statements. That will be a big help in analyzing the FS, no? In conducting a financial statements analysis. Notes are very important because you do not really include all information in the income statement or balance sheet. May mga portions na kailangan ilagay as annotation to the FS. Okay, let's quickly look at the balance sheet. Ano ba yung balance sheet? The balance sheet tells us it's a report on the what? Financial, tells us of the financial P, di ba? Or financial blank at a specific blank of time. Blank of blank. Okay, could you furnish, guys, the missing items there? Ano ba yung balance sheet? It tells us of the financial blank or financial blank of a company at a specific blank. Specific blank. Anyone? Okay, correct. No? Thank you, Jody. Thank you, Kyrene. Sinagot din ni Kyrene, ni Jody. No? You're correct. Ang sabi nila, financial statements. No? It's financial position or uh, financial position or what? Financial position or financial status, not status, but financial position or financial standing. No? Financial standing. Financial position or financial standing at a specific, okay, you got this, no? Thank you. At a specific period. Period ba ang balance sheet, guys? Period ba ang balance sheet? Ang balance sheet ba for one year, for example? Does it cover January 1 to December 31? So ano dapat to? Okay, thank you. So it's a specific point in time, no? Point in time, so sorry. Point in time. Okay, not period of time. Okay, if you take a look at the balance sheet, nakalagay dyan, December 31, 2020, for example. Ibig sabihin nun, lahat ng mga items nun, kunyari whether it's cash, liabilities, or equity, yung mga yan, yung values yan, that was as of December 31, 2020. 2 days, 3 days later, it would have most probably changed, no? Except some items na baka hindi pa nagbabago, no? Pero kunyari, may mga accounts, kunyari assets, no? Current assets. Usually per day, daily ang nagbabago, no? Okay, so it tells us of the financial position at a specific point in time. Okay, so we know, guys, that the balance sheet contains our assets, liabilities, and equity. And we know, guys, yung we know, class, the basic accounting formula natin, that our assets is equal to liabilities plus equity. Okay, so let's take a look at ano ba yung mga classifications ng assets natin sa balance sheet. What are the classifications of the assets? Ano yung mga major classifications ng assets natin sa balance sheet? Okay, current and non-current, okay? So we have current assets. Yung non-current, may ano yan? Ano yung mga non-current natin? So yung non-current natin, apat yan, apat. Land, Marion, Sophia, thank you. Current, non-current. Karen, thank you. Correct, current and non-current. But let's specify the non-current. Yung land, yes, thank you, Marion, thank you, Kyrene, thank you, Bridget. They fall under property. So dito, no? 1, 2, 3, 4. Property, plant, and equipment, or your fixed assets. So dito sila. So whether it's machinery, equipment, land, na ginagamit dun sa business, then that falls under PPE, property, plant, and equipment. Ano pa, guys? What else? Vehicle, Ron, will be part of PPE. No? Kasama siya sa PPE. Ano pa yung ano? Yung current assets, guys, ano yung mga different types of current assets? Expound natin, guys. Okay, thank you, Gianna. Thank you, Sophia. Yes, it's cash. Tapos, receivables, okay? Trade and other receivables. Tapos, prepaid expenses, okay? Prepayments natin. Tapos, thank you, Charles. Sorry, Charles, nag-ano sa inyo. May nag-message sa akin si Charles. Okay? Thank you, Charles. Pasensya na you have to, ano. I'll check your attendance in a while, ha? Mamaya. Okay. So, kulang pa. By the way, Charles, I appreciate your effort to join the class. Yan. Thank you, Gianna. It's market short-term investments or marketable securities. No? Short-term investments or marketable securities. That's correct. Meron pa tayong isa dito. Receivables, prepayments. O yung isang importante, nakalimutan nyo. Nakalagay dito. No? Thank you, Ivan. Ayan. Linagay na Ivan. Inventory. Inventories. Diba? Items held for sale. No? Mga ibebenta. Okay? In the ordinary course of their business. So, I think you're now learning yung may merchandise accounting kayo. So, yan, halos lahat yan, halos inventory yan. Kasi, ang merchandise, these are goods that are items that are bought and then to be sold later on. So, inventory yun. Pag manufacturing, guys, ano yung mga inventory natin? Pag manufacturing, ilang type ng inventory ang makikita natin dyan? Anyone? Ano yung mga inventory natin? Four types? Okay. Sophia, not the way of recording inventory. You're learning now, 'di ba, yung sa periodic. Pag periodic kasi ang inaano natin yung purchases, 'di ba? Pag perpetual naman yung inventory. Okay. So, but thank you for the answers. Marion, 4 types. There are only 3 types, no? Ayan, yung sinabi ni Ivan, paki-share sa lahat. Thank you, Kyrene, no? Janry, thank you, tatlo. Ivan, paki-share sa buong class para makita nila yung answer mo because that's correct. Thank you, Ivan. So that's raw materials, work in process, and finished goods. Diba? Pag manufacturing firm, yan ang tatlong level sila ng inventory. Yung raw materials, kahit na hindi pa siya tapos, kahit na hindi pa siya nagagawa, still that's part of inventory. Okay. Alright. So kulang pa tayo, guys, no? Current assets, may kulang pa tayo dito. Property, plant, and equipment. Ano pa yung tatlong hindi natin na-identify? Tatlong yan. Thank you. No? Okay, so sabi ni Marion, long-term investments. Okay, lagyan natin dito long-term investments. That's the second one, guys. So una, current assets. Tapos yung non-current assets natin, 4 siya. You have long-term investments, property, plant, and equipment, or fixed assets. And then you mentioned ito. Yung mga goodwill, okay. Thank you, Sophia. It's intangible assets yan. Intangible assets. Okay. So ano yung example sa intangible assets natin? Yan. Binention na kanina, goodwill, ano pa, patents. Any other examples, guys? Any other? Trademark, okay. Trademarks, tama. Ito, yes, franchise, pwede. Okay, copyright. Okay, copyrights, brand, okay. Alright, so iba-iba, no? Okay, now may na-mention dito yung accumulated amortization. Si accumulated amortization, guys, it's not really intangible assets. Ano siya? Yung contra asset siya, contra account, no? So pag report natin intangible assets, kasama lagi yung ililess natin yung accumulated amortization. Okay? But it's not really part of your assets. It's a contra asset. Okay, thank you, Jody, for that. And thank you for the others also who gave their answers. Marion, Sophia, okay, Gianna, copyright. Nasulat ba dito copyright? Okay, last, guys, last. Ano to? Long-term investments, property, plant, and equipment, intangible assets, and accumulated depreciation is also a contra asset, no? Kasama dito yan, dinideduct yan sa property, plant, and equipment. Thank you, Sophia. Investment property, andito na siya, no, sa long-term investment. May isa pa. Yung hindi natin pwede maklasify under all of this. Kunyari, guys, receivables from employees. Yung receivables from employees, hindi naman siya pwedeng receivables kasi ang receivables natin from from customers, no? Operating and non-operating, no. Thank you, Benisa, for the answer, but it's not operating and non-operating. Clue, OA. Yan. Thank you, Kyrene. Yes, Paki-ano, Kyrene, paki-share sa lahat. Yes, it's other assets, no? Other assets. Yung hindi maka-classify as any of this. Okay? So quickly guys, 'di ba? Sabi natin kapag assets, andyan yung current assets, lima yan, no? According to liquidity, it's arranges cash as short-term investments, receivables, inventory, at saka prepayments. Tapos yung mga non-current assets natin, according to ano din, liquidity, long-term investment, PPE, property, plant, and equipment, and then you have intangible assets, and then your other assets. Yeah. So lima siya, no? Five all in all. Tapos yung liabilities natin, di ba? Simple lang naman yung liabilities natin. You have current liabilities at saka non-current liabilities. Ito rin yung liabilities natin. Okay? Tapos equity, ano yung laman ng equity natin? Assuming it's a corporation, no? Kasi pag sole proprietorship, yung capital lang yan. So shareholders' equity. So you have your common stock, and then you have your retained earnings. Okay, some firms will have both common stock and preferred stock. No? So dalawa, may common stock sila, may preferred stock sila. So pwede din yun, lagyan natin dito, kung meron preferred stock. Okay, magkaiba yung ano niya guys, magkaiba yung nature nila. Si preferred stock parang parang bond din, parang utang yan eh. Kasi unlike ang common stock na ang dividends depende dun sa decision ng company, depende dun sa performance ng ano, current operating performance. Si preferred stock may fixed na dividends yan. Kunyari 10%, no? Okay, 10% depende dun sa number of shares na hawak. All right. So those are the things that we quick summary lang guys ng ano ng mga FS natin. Ay, hindi pa tayo tapos. Balance sheet pa lang 'yun. Income statement naman, ano yung pinapakita sa atin ng income statement? It tells us of the ano naman yung income statement? It tells us of the results of operations, no? Results of operations for a specific what, guys? Okay, also financial performance, correct? Thank you, Sophia. Tells us of the results of operations, tells us of the financial performance for a specific what? Okay, period of time. Period of time. Unlike the balance sheet, guys, na it's the financial position at that specific point in time, ang income statement, it always covers a period of time. It can be 1 year, 1 month, 1 week, depende dun sa frequency ng paggawa ng company, ng FS. Pero pag 1 year, tapos nakita natin year ended, for the year ended, December 31, anong year ang ginagamit ng company? Nasabi ko na yung answer. Pag ending December 31, the company makes use of the calendar year. If the ending is not December 31, kunyari, June 30, anong klaseng year ang ginagamit ng company? For the year ended June 30. Ano ibig sabihin nun? It makes use, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Sophia, thank you. Jana, it makes use of the, Kyrene, thank you. Fiscal year, no? Tapos ang sabi ni Venice, yung income statement daw, yung revenues, okay. So that's what that's what we see in the income statement. You're correct, no? Ang nakikita natin sa income statement, unlike yung balance sheet where we see assets, liabilities, and equity, sa income statement, ang nakikita natin yung, we see revenues, expenses, costs, and you have the profit. No? Yun nakikita natin sa income statement. And it's for a specific period of time. Okay, that's good. How about cash flow statement, guys? Cash flow statement, ang nakikita natin dito. Sulat natin dito, blank or blank of blank from, panay blank to, no? Activities. Alright, Sophia, thank you. Yung OIF niya, tama, no? It's operating, investing, and financing. Okay, what about the first one? So this is operating, investing, and financing activities. So the cash flow statement tells us of the blank or blank of blank from operating, investing, and financing. Yung C, madali, guys. Obvious to. Ano kaya yung C dito? Yes, thank you, Gianna. You're correct. No? Thank you, Kyrene. Tama. Thank you, Sophia. So tama, cash to. Kasi pag cash flow statement, ang minomonitor natin dito yung cash. Okay, cash being the most liquid among the assets. Dapat tinitingnan yan. Kung paano, ano yung S at saka U kaya? It's U, guys, it's U. Not V. Ano kaya yan? Saan nanggagaling yung cash? Saan ginagamit yung cash? So what's that? It's the sources, correct? Thank you, Kyrene, and uses of cash. Yan. So the cash flow statement tells us of the sources, dapat nga ito N, no? And uses of cash from operating, investing, and financing activities. Okay? So source, use, and use of cash from operating, investing, and financing activities. Again, also for a specific period of time. A period of time din yan. No? Okay, sandali lang guys ha. Dito ka umihit, Simon, dyan! Ano mo to? Okay, sorry guys. Ay nako, ang hirap mag-alaga ng tuta. Okay. Alright. So, saan na tayo? Where did I stop, guys? Ito, no? Cash flow statement. Sources or uses of cash from operating, investing, and financing activities. Okay. And then you have the fourth one. We have the statement of changes in shareholders' equity. So ito lang yung ano, yung flow ng changes also how your shareholders' equity moved, okay, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Okay, kung may changes ba dun sa common stock, ibig sabihin meron bang panibagong mga investments, infusion ng investors, tapos kung may mga retained earnings ba, kung nadagdagan ba yung retained earnings. Okay, so that's just the statement of changes in shareholders' equity. And then last, you have the notes to the financial statements. Okay, so let's now move. Punta na tayo sa model natin, guys. Okay, so here we have, ano ba yung hinihingi sa atin ito? May pinapang-compute sa atin, no? Construct the statement of retained earnings and cash flow. So gagawin natin yan. Calculate the net operating working capital. May mga pinapa-compute, no? So nasa ilalim yan. Ito. So we won't be able to complete this now, but we'll do so next meeting. Pero ang goal natin, guys, magawa natin yung pro forma ng statement of cash flows natin So our target is to be able to reach up to this one, yung totals dito. Okay, so let's start, guys. So si Advanced Technologies, ito yung income statement niya, 2020-2029. Okay? So notice, ang ginawa ko dito, inuna ko si 2019. No? Yun ang usual. Inuuna muna yung current. Tapos, andito yung balance sheet natin, 2019-2021, 2020-2019. Okay, so our first task is to be able to construct the statement of cash flows. In order to do that, guys, but before we do that, let's take a look at our statements first, income statement. So you have sales here. Then sales for 2020 was 945, sales 2019 was 900. Okay, by how many percent did sales increase? Nag-increase pa o nag-decrease? Nag-increase, di ba? 900 to 945. So, by the way guys, these are in thousands of pesos. No? Ibig sabihin, dapat lalagyan natin ng 3 zeros yan. So, sometimes you see this. You see that notation. Open parenthesis, 000, ibig sabihin nun, in thousands to. So, sometimes you see thousands of pesos, sometimes you see this. Okay, so this is actually 945 million. Kasi it's 945,000. But let's just read it as 945,000. Okay, sales increased in 2020 by 45,000, di ba? By how many percent did it increase? Anyone? Ilang percent increase ng sales? Yes, Dennis, thank you, 5%. Then how did you compute for 5%? Thank you, Ivan. You're correct. Yeah, thank you, Ivan. It's 45,000 over 900,000. Pero saan nanggaling 45,000? Can you explain, Ivan, please? Saan nanggaling 45,000? Okay. Can you unmute yourself? Okay ba yung mic mo? Tapos ipakita mo sa akin dito, you dictate to me ano dapat yung Excel na, kasi guys, ang gagawin natin ito, we will not only be learning finance, but we will also be learning how to increase our efficiency, our knowledge, our proficiency in Excel. Okay, Ivan?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Am I audible po?
Yes, you're audible.
Sir, so ano po, yung sales in 2020 deducts, opo.
Then,
Deducts yung minus
ito.
Opo.
Then,
yung buo, yung answer po niya, divided by
yung buo.
G11.
Paano natin mabubuo to?
Parenthesis po, sir.
Ayun. You have to put parenthesis, di ba? Okay? You have to put parenthesis because we are telling Excel to compute first yung difference na to, and then
divided by G11 po, sir.
Yeah, okay. That's good, no? That's good. Thank you, Ivan. You're correct.
Sir.
Perfect answer, no? So tama to. Also, Dennis, thank you so much. So the answer is you're correct, no? 5% increase nga. Okay, and Ivan told us that the formula is actually, sabi niya, value at time t minus value at time t minus 1 divided by value at time t minus 1. You have to first perform the subtraction. Okay, otherwise guys, pag hindi natin gawin yon, pag hindi natin linagyan dito ng had we not put here a parenthesis, uunahin ni Excel, kasi Excel will follow the PEMDAS, no? The parenthesis, then the exponentiation, etc. Pag hindi natin linagyan ng parenthesis yan, i-divide niya muna kasi mauuna yung division kaysa subtraction. Okay, now, is there an easier way to do this? So next time, pag kinukuha natin yung growth rate, may easier way, no? Kasi dito, sa formula natin dito, di ba nag-parenthesis pa tayo? Is there an easier way? Could you suggest an easier way for us to do that? Okay. Thank you, William. Sige nga, William, uh, can you use your mic? William, okay lang ba? Kasi may sinasuggest si William dito, which is the correct answer, no? Sige, sige. Ano mo na lang, share mo na lang yung answer mo sa buong class. Kasi naka-private yung pag-chat mo. Okay, yan. So, sabi ni William, 945 over 900, and then tapos yung 1.05, so 5%. Pero may jump tayo dito, yung 1.05 naging 5%. Okay, so what William is saying here is that we can simplify this. Ang gawin natin, para wala tayong subtraction dun sa numerator, pwede namang i-distribute natin denominator. So this becomes V sub t over V sub t minus 1. Okay? And then, distribute natin V sub t minus 1 over V sub t minus 1 minus 1. Ayan. So this is the easier formula. No? Easier in the sense that we're only looking at two values here kasi isa minus 1 na lang yun. No? Ito, tatlo kasi yung inaano natin, ginagalaw natin. Okay? And it's also a lot easier sa Excel. So yun ang advantage nito. If we take a look at Excel, guys. Okay, so it's equal to, ito yung value natin at time t divided by value at time t minus 1 minus 1. So that dispenses with the use of parentheses. Okay? And they're the same. Of course, we get the same answer. Also 0.05. Okay, so next time, guys, pag kinuha natin growth rate, ganito yung gagawin natin formula. Value at time t over value at time t minus 1 minus 1. No need to use this kasi mahaba ito mas matagal. Tinoy, nag-parenthesis pa tayo. Samantalang dito, ayan lang, time t over time t minus 1 minus 1. Straightforward. Okay? Alright. Now, sales natin, 945. Now, take a look at expenses excluding depreciation and amortization. Now, bakit may sinisingle out to yung depreciation and amortization? What's the reason, guys? Why do we have a singling out of depreciation and amortization? What could be the reason for that? Okay, contra assets. Ron, thank you. Contra assets, depreciation and amortization, guys, in this case, they're not contra assets, no? Kasi nasa income statement sila. Okay, di ba pag contra asset, nasa balance sheet yan. But what we're looking at as our income statement is the income statement. So they're not contra asset, guys. They're expense accounts, depreciation and amortization. Right? So, ang question natin dito, bakit sila sinisingle out? Bakit hindi expenses excluding transportation or expenses including interest? Any guess, guys? Any suggestions? Para tama po nakalagay yung income statement, okay? So we need to, thank you Sophia, thank you Ivan. Hindi siya yung contra asset account, no? What's the ano ito? Ano yung quality into depreciation at saka amortization? Okay? The answer, guys, is si depreciation at saka si amortization, ano? Pag nagdi-depreciation ba tayo, naglalabas tayo ng pera? When you see, yeah, thank you, Ivan. Alright, so anong pinaka-reason natin kung bakit sinisingle out to? What type of expenses are they? Parang nababawasan yun lang yung value, Sophia. Guys, a favor naman, when you send your answer, share it with everyone, no? Para everyone will benefit also from your sharing. Okay, so ang answer dito, guys, is that depreciation and amortization are non-cash expenses. Okay? So pag nag-record tayo, nag-journalize tayo, depreciation 10,000. Okay? Depreciation expense 10,000. Ano ibig sabihin nun? What does that mean, guys? It doesn't mean that naglabas tayo ng pera na 10,000. No? Unlike pag sinabi natin transportation expense 5,000. Yun, naglabas talaga ng 5,000, gumamit ng 5,000 na for transportation. Okay? So, depreciation and amortization are non-cash expenses. Although related to that, yung binanggit ko nga, I'm happy you also mentioned that, is that depreciation, di ba pag ginormalize yan, di ba ganito yan eh. Depreciation expense, 10,000. Debit yon. Ang credit, accumulated depreciation. Okay? So partner yan, dalawang yan. Okay. Pero guys, ang reason dito kung bakit sinasegregate si depreciation and amortization is that they are non-cash expenses. Okay, going here guys, Ebitda. Have you met this in your accounting, yung measure ng Ebitda? Pakichat nga. Kung na-meet nyo na si Ebitda. Everyone, please? Anyone, please? Na-meet nyo na ba yung Ebitda? Yes or no lang yun, guys? Okay, thank you, Kyrene. The rest, guys? Thank you, Maria. Thank you. Salamat. Okay, thank you, Rian. Yeah, thank you, Benis. Okay, thank you so much, guys. So, no. That's good kasi usually hindi ginagamit to sa accounting. Usually, this is more of a finance figure. EBITDA, guys, means earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So, ibig sabihin yun, earnings siya na hindi pa natin nasasubtract si interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Okay, so that's our EBITDA, no? Okay, and then here, we subtract now your depreciation and amortization to come up with your EBIT. Okay, so EBIT is earnings before interest and taxes. Okay? Pause muna ako. Any questions so far? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so EBIT na tayo, which is earnings before interest and taxes. Then we subtract interest expense, okay, 10,470 to get your earnings before tax. EBT na tayo, no? Pag minus natin 99,200 minus 10,470, you get 88,730. This is your earnings before tax. Then your taxes. I apologize guys na ang ginagamit ko dito 40%. Okay, ang tax, sorry, mali. I will not, we retain the 40% kasi magbabago-bago yung computations eh. Ang current tax rate nga, if I'm not mistaken, is 30%. No? So, how did I get 35,492? Anyone? Paano po nakuha yung 35,492? You can shut it or you may wish to unmute yourself. How did you get 35,492? Okay, Ron, could you share, Ron? Okay, so may answer din si Marion. Okay, I think mga tama yung answer nyo, no? Okay, so that's correct, no? So it's 88. It's your earnings before tax multiplied by the tax rate of 0.4. So that's 35,492. That's where we got 35,492. Okay? And then after tax, once we subtract tax, you get now your NIAT net income after tax, or EAT, earnings earnings after tax. Okay, so that's 53,238. All right? So what happens next, guys? Yung disposition ng 53,238. So sabi natin na yung 53,238 na yan, okay, management can, sa corporation, no? Management can either distribute it as dividends. So, meron tayong tinatawag na dividend payout ratio, at saka yung retention rate, yung flowed back to operations of the company in the form of retained earnings. Okay? So how much was dividend payout ratio? How much? So, ang dividend na in-issue is 43,300 out of the total 53,238 income available, no? So that's 81% yung distributed as dividends, no? Therefore, our retention rate is just the difference between 100% and 81%. So expect that this should be 18.7%, which is just 9938 divided by the 53,238. Sorry. Okay, 18.7%. Okay, if you ask me, paano na-come up tong 43,300 na to? Well, sabi natin, di ba? One of the functions of finance is yung dividend decision making. Dividend decision making. Finance has to determine kung magkano yung dividends ibibigay, tsaka how much is that, no? Okay, so that's one of the function of finance. Dito, ang lumalabas sa dividend is 43,300. Okay, so then we go to the balance sheet, guys. Sa balance sheet, assets natin, cash and cash equivalents, short-term investments, accounts receivable, and inventory. So we can see here that there are 4 current assets here, and wala na tayong ibang assets but the net fixed assets, no? Okay, saan galing yung net fixed assets nga pala, guys? Where does net fixed assets come from? Anyone? So we have fixed assets, di ba? Fixed assets at cost yan, no? And usually, pag maraming fixed assets, syempre ilalagay ang note. Kunyari, note A. And then dun sa note A, naka-itemize ano yung mga fixed assets. Okay, and then what do we do, guys? Anong gagawin dun dito sa fixed assets na to? Okay. Sum of all assets, contra assets, and liabilities. Thank you, Marian, for the answer. Tama itong assets and contra assets. Ito nga lang yung liabilities hindi kasama, no? So we don't include liabilities dito sa net fixed assets. Ang kasama dyan, yung fixed asset mismo, yung cost niya, no? Yung acquisition cost, and then what do we subtract there? What do we subtract? Less the, okay, anong linalas natin? What did you learn in your accounting, guys? Less the, okay. Thank you, Venice. So that's correct, no? Accumulated depreciation. That's correct. Thank you, Marian. Kaya rin yung depreciation, that's an expense account, no? So hindi yung depreciation, but rather the accumulated depreciation. So accumulated depreciation. Remember, nasa balance sheet tayo, no? So wala tayong makikitang depreciation dito. Ivan, yung doubtful accounts, that's linked to your receivables. No? Sa receivables siya, hindi siya sa fixed assets. Okay? Accumulated depreciation, fixed assets. So yung ano nito guys, yung difference na to, that will be your net fixed assets. Okay? So ito yun. Okay, sometimes ang pinapakita yung tatlong to, sometimes yung isa lang. But pag net fixed assets lang, may note sigurado yan para i-disclose kung ano yung mga laman ng fixed assets na yan. Okay? Hindi pa pwedeng ganyan lang. No? Kailangan, sasabihin dapat dyan kung ano yung laman ng mga fixed assets. Okay. Then we have the liabilities and equity. I think nasagot ko na si Ivan, ano? Thank you, Ivan, for your answer. Pero yung allowance for doubtful accounts, that's a contra asset for yung receivables, no? Minaminus natin sa receivables yan. Okay, then liabilities and equity natin, we have accounts payable, accruals. Ano yung accruals? These are expenses that have already been, expenses already incurred but not yet paid. Notes payable. Okay, may interest to, interest bearing to. Accounts payable guys, di ba na you're learning now from your merchandising accounting. Ito yung credit terms na binibigay ng supplier. And usually may mga ano yan, may mga credit terms. Kunyari, 215 and 30. It means na discounted if you pay within 15 days. But if not, you're given up to 30 days to pay. Okay. So you have here your, yun ang tatlo lang yung current liabilities natin. Then you have your long-term debt, long-term liability. And then ito yung equity side natin. So this is different from a sole proprietorship. Kasi sa sole proprietorship, yung equity natin, kunyari, Bob Capital, yun lang. Ivan Capital, yun lang yung ano natin. Pag partnership naman, more than one. Bob Capital, Ivan Capital, Marion Capital, Kyrene Capital. Ganun, ano? Pag partnership, more than one. Pag corporation, guys, ownership is divided into shares of stock. Okay, you will see common stock, or you will see preferred stock, okay? And then retained earnings. Okay, if you take a look at this, guys, how did we get 99,938? That's very easy kasi cumulated to, no? Retained earnings, cumulated to. Noong 2019, nagsimula tayo sa 90,000. Ibig sabihin, nung January 1, 2020, 90,000. Kasi end of the year ng 19 eh. So at the beginning of 2020, January 1, 90,000 yung retained earnings. Okay? And then what happened? So let me just show that. Retained earnings, January 1. It was 90,000. Okay, what happened, guys? In 2020, nag-earn yung company, no? Nag-earn yung company ng magkano? 53,238. Ito yung net income after tax. Of which, 43,000 was distributed as dividends. So, ang natira na lang, 9,938. Ito na lang yung addition to retained earnings. Okay? So, dito papasok yan. Addition to retained earnings, which was 9,938. Therefore, retained earnings, December 31, was 99,938. Okay? Now, this is what we call the statement of changes in retained earnings. Okay, kung retained earnings lang naman tinitingnan natin dito, so this is called the statement of changes in retained earnings. Okay, this is actually part of a bigger statement, yung statement of changes in shareholders' equity. Kasi it's a statement of changes in shareholders' equity kasama yung statement of changes of retained earnings. So ang pinapagawa sa atin, medyo babaguhin natin to, no? Kasi statement of retained, oo. Statement of retained earnings. Baka hindi natin magagawa yung statement of changes in shareholders' equity kasi dapat may details tayo about the common stock. Ilang shares yan, okay? Ilan yung par value yan, etc. So ito yung statement of changes in retained earnings. Ito na yan. Okay, so guys, ito, gawin natin 40% to, sorry. Okay, so question number 1, guys. Construct the statement of cash flows and the statement of retained earnings. Yung statement of retained earnings, nagawa na natin. Okay, so gagawin natin yung statement of cash flows. What financial statements are needed? Ano ba yung mga financial statements natin na kailangan para ma-construct natin? Sorry, paki-delete na lang to, no? To construct the statement of cash flows. Okay, since we're a bit running out of time, guys, sasagutin ko na lang to, ha. Ang kailangan natin, guys, in order to construct the statement of cash flows for 2020 is your balance sheet for 2020. We also need the balance sheet for 2019, and we need the income statement for 2020. So these are the 3 financial statements that we need so that we can prepare the statement of cash flows for 2020. Balance sheet 2020, balance sheet 2019, and statement of income statement for 2020. Now, do we have the, okay, thank you, Marian, okay? Pero specify natin dapat, no? Balance sheet ng 2020, balance sheet ng 2019, income statement ng 2020. So do we have all of this? Balance sheet 2020, meron. Balance sheet 2019, meron. Then, income statement 2020, meron. Okay. Can we construct the statement of cash flows for 2019? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Can we construct the statement of cash flows for 2019? Thank you, William. No, you're correct. Hindi pa pwede. Kasi, to construct a statement of cash flows for 2019, we need balance sheet 2019, we need balance sheet 2018, and we need income statement 2019. Meron tayong balance sheet ng 2019, meron tayong income statement 2019, pero wala tayong balance sheet ng 2018. So we cannot do that. Okay? So I hope that's clear, guys. Okay, so how do we construct our statement of cash flows? I already gave here the pro forma, the template. You notice that there are 3 activities here: cash flow from operating, cash flow from investing, and cash flow from financing. And then we compute here yung net increase in cash. Dapat we should come up with 47,250 at the end, no? Ito. Dapat papalabasin natin tong 47,250. Okay. In order for us to do this, the best way to do this is to first create a template. Create tayong template, ilagay natin yung operating, investing, and financing para after this, isi-shoot na lang natin dito. Madali na natin ma-construct to, no? Okay, so let's do this. Okay, gagamitin natin tong working paper na to. So let's take a look at cash. Kasi ito, guys, i-investigate natin, no? Cash and cash equivalents. What happened to cash? Did it increase or decrease? Ano nangyari sa cash natin? Nag-increase ba siya o nag-decrease? Answer? So, okay, thank you. Increase, no? Increase by, thank you so much. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, Kyrene. And thank you, Marion. It's correct, no? Micah, thank you. It's an increase of 200, di ba? So, it's equal to 47,250 minus 45,000. So, 2,250, no? Sorry, not 200, 2,250. So there was an increase of 2,250. Ngayon, ito yung investigahan natin. Saan ang galing to? Saan ang galing to? Where did this come from? Where did this 2,250 come from? Okay, so that's how we will create our statement of cash flows. Where did the 2,250 come from? All right? Yeah, 47,250 minus 45. That's 2,250. Pero, in terms of operating, investing, financing, saan ang galing yan? Okay? So we're going to look at the accounts in our balance sheet and then determine kung yung effect ba niya, kung yung changes sa kanya, did it impact operating, did it impact investing, and did it impact financing? No? So that's what we're going to look at. Okay, so let's start, guys. So in order to create the statement of cash flows, yung template, kailangan simulan natin, guys, sa first things first, yung results ng operations natin, yung net income after tax. And yung net income after tax will fall under operating. Operating talaga yan, no? It's 53,238. Remember, this is 2020, no? So tinignan natin, ano ba nangyari sa 2020? Net income after tax niya, 53,238. Pero ang question ko, guys, ganito. Ito ba, yung 53,238 na yan, is it equal to cash? Yes or no? Yes or no? Is 53,238 equal to cash? Equivalent to cash ba yan? Okay. Marion, bakit kaya? Marion, any answer? Any guess kung bakit no yung answer mo? Would you like to explain, Marion? Income pala po yung kailangan po. I-liquidize. Her income pa lang po siya, kailangan pang liquidize. Okay, so Sophia, yes. So medyo ano tayo, ano, medyo divided yung ano natin, yung answer, no? Okay. Sophia answers yes. Si Mario naman answer no. Sophia, bakit yes? Would you like to explain your answer? Dahil nabawas po yung taxes and okay. Thank you, Sophia, for your answer, no? So ang sabi ni Sophia, yes, this is cash kasi binawas natin yung interest and taxes. Okay. Ang sabi naman ni Marion, hindi. No? Kasi may binabanggit siyang kailangan pang i-liquidate or something to make it liquid. Okay. So the answer, guys, is yung 53,238 na yan, it's, sandali, may sumagot, ha? Liquidate. Okay. Thank you, Marion. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. I understood it, no? Liquidate yung 53,238. The answer is it's no. It's not cash flow. Bakit? Bakit siya hindi cash flow? I'm going to explain why, no? 'Di ba? How did we arrive at 53,238? So sales, expenses, etc., etc. So may mga expenses ba dito dyan, guys, na hindi cash? Dito sa income statement natin. May mga revenues ba na non-cash? Wala tayong nakikitang ganun, no? Wala namang information sa atin about non-cash revenues. Pero kung may non-cash revenues yan, i-adjust dapat natin yan, no? How about non-cash expenses? Meron ba tayong mga non-cash expenses? Yes, may sumagot. Non-cash expenses, yes. Okay, ano yun? Thank you, Marion. That's correct, no? Yung sinabi natin kanina, itong depreciation and amortization, no? Non-cash expense to, di ba? Binawas natin to. Okay, so ang result, guys, in terms of cash flow, is your net income overstated or understated? Sabi nga, answer niya, guys, over ba o under? Is our net income overstated or understated? Kasi nagbawas tayo ng ano, ng non-cash expense. Net income natin in terms of cash, kung gagawin natin itong i-equate natin sa cash to. Overstated or understated? Answer? Okay, answer is overstated. Okay, thank you, Ernst. Bakit overstated? Pwede kayo mag-unmute guys ha, para hindi na kayo magta-type. Would you like to share your answer, Ernest? Kung bakit overstated? Okay, anyone, guys? Answer is, guys, answer is understated to. Okay, bakit? Assume natin na sales is in cash, no? So sabihin natin lahat yan, tax, of course, in cash yan. Hindi naman papayag ang government na hindi tax ang payment natin. Interest is also in cash. So sales, let's assume that it's in cash, no? So this leaves us with depreciation and amortization. Kung cash lahat to, tapos binawasan natin yung depreciation and amortization, na non-cash naman siya, ang net income natin 53,238, therefore, understated. Kasi nagbawas tayo ng non-cash eh. Di ba? Understated to. If we're going to consider that as cash, no? Therefore, 53,238 is hindi siya cash. Kasi guys, nagbawas tayo ng mga non-cash items. So how do we adjust this now? How do we now convert yung 53,238 into cash? Kasi ang ginagawa natin guys, cash flows eh. So hindi pa pwedeng 53,238. Kailangan i-convert natin yan into cash. What do we do with this? Anyone, guys? Okay. Yes. Thank you, Marion. Okay. Ibalik natin yung amortization and depreciation kasi binawas natin, di ba? Di ba? Understated siya kasi binawas natin depreciation and amortization. Since hindi naman to cash, okay, to convert this back to cash, yung binawas natin, ibalik natin. Kung may dinagdag tayo na non-cash revenues, ibawas natin yon. Okay? So let me write here depreciation and amortization. So this should be equal to 33,100. We should be adding it back. Okay? Clear yun guys kung bakit natin i-add back? Clear ba? Clear guys kung bakit natin i-add back to? Paki-chat na lang please. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sophia. The rest, guys? In-add back natin itong 33,100. Kasi binawas natin dito yan eh. In order to arrive at the net income, binawas natin siya. Eh gusto natin net income is in cash. Eh ito, hindi naman, assuming si sales is cash. Expenses are all in cash. Depreciation, 33,100, hindi naman cash yan eh. So para ma-adjust back natin into cash to, ibalik natin itong 33,100. Okay guys, clear yun? Clear? Okay, isa pa lang sumasagot. I want you, kung pwede guys. Okay, thank you. Thank you. The rest guys, nakukuha ba? Okay. Alright, salamat, no? Salamat. Sorry guys kung minsan nagtatanong talaga ako kasi I really want to make sure that you understood what I'm explaining kasi baka hindi maganda yung pagka-explain ko. So I don't want to assume na okay yung pag-explain ko. Alright. Okay, so ang gagawin natin guys, titingnan natin yung balance sheet natin. Okay, so let's start first with since ito ini-investigate natin ano, si cash and cash equivalents. So let's go now to short-term investments. Okay, what happened to short-term investments? From 3,600, it became 3,800. Ibig sabihin, tumaas siya ng 200, di ba? So I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to answer this way, no? I-chat nyo dyan kung operating siya, ilagay nyo O. Kasi dapat alam natin kung saan papasok yan eh. Is it operating, investing, or financing? And then pangalawa, comma, source of cash ba siya? S, or use of cash? Or U. So, kung source of cash, S siya. Kung use of cash, U. Pag source of cash kasi dapat positive yan, use of cash, ima-minus natin dito yan. Okay? So, the item that we're looking at is short-term investments. Eh, di ba? Parang cash na rin yan, di ba? So, in short-term investments natin, 3.6 at the beginning of the year, naging 3.8 at the end of the year. So, saan papapasok? Operating, investing, or financing? O, I, or F? And then, ano siya? Source of cash or use of cash? Para mas madali kayo mag-type, guys, just use O, I, or F, and then U or S. Okay, thank you, Micah. So, sabi ni Micah, it's I, and then use of cash. Take note, guys, ha? Parang cash na rin to, ha? Yung short-term investment na to. No? So, tumaas, yung investment natin, yung halos cash na rin to, 3.6, naging 3.8. So, according to Micah, it's investing, Rian, then I, pero use of cash. Bakit use of cash? Okay, Sophia, I at saka S. Okay, may source of cash tayo dito, no? Okay, kasi halos cash na rin to eh, di ba? 3.6 to 3.8. Kung tumaas to, hindi ba dapat source yan? Okay, the rest, guys, I want to see your answer. Then discuss natin. What do others say about yung short-term investments? So is that operating, investing, or financing? And then is it a source of cash or a use of cash? I only have 3 answers, guys. I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Okay? Sige, I'll give you a few seconds. And I hope na pagtingin ulit natin dito, marami na nag-chat. Okay, I'm seeing several answers here. Investing, source, FS. Okay, si Marion, sabi niya, undecided whether it's investing or financing. Sophia is IS. Walang nadagdag. Okay, akala ko madadagdagan yung mga answers. Let's give it a few more seconds for the others to try to guess. Kahit guess lang. Guys, kung pwede, isulat nyo to everybody yung para mako-compare natin. Thank you, Kyrene. Pakilagay sa send it to everybody. Okay, IS. Okay. Sige, mukhang different answers, no? Yung iba I, yung may F, U or S, okay? But mostly it's source of cash. Di ba source of cash yan? Kasi from 3.6 naging 3.8. Di ba guys? You agree? It's a source of cash. Tama ba? Okay, kasi yung short-term investments parang cash na rin yan eh. So from 3.6 naging 3.8 siya. So nadagdagan, di ba? Okay. So it's a source of cash. So ano ilalagay natin dito? Positive or negative? Positive, correct. Ang question na lang saan yan, investing or financing. Yung short-term investment yan guys, hindi sa hindi role ng operating yan, ano? And it's, ang nag-aano yan talaga finance. Okay, so it's kasi interest bearing yan, so papasok siya sa financing. Okay, and it's financing and then 200, di ba? Right? So this is equal to, yeah. Okay. Next, accounts receivable. So source of cash, no, positive 200. And then papasok sa financing. Any questions, guys? Any questions? I expect some questions from you, guys. Wala? Ay, wait. Pag naka-parenthesis ba sa Excel, ano to? Positive ba, negative? Guys, anyone? Pag naka-parenthesis ba sa Excel, negative o positive? Negative, no? Negative. So, tama ba to? Oh, yeah. Yeah, negative to. So, mali tayo dito, no? So, dapat positive siya kasi dapat dapat source of cash. Okay. Okay, so, anong gagawin natin dito? Mali, ano? Okay, so dapat this minus this. Okay? So, positive na siya. Okay, positive na siya tapos nasa financing. Alright? So, let's go to accounts receivable. Eh, may questions ba? Para may nag-private. Bakit daw negative pa rin? Negative pa rin ba, guys? Oo nga, may parenthesis pa rin, ano? Okay, so dapat, what should I do here, guys? Dapat, paano ko gagawin to? Kasi dapat positive to eh. F28 minus G28. Kasi inuna ko. Okay, sige. So, gagawin ko, unahin dapat yung F, ano? So, sige. So, this one plus this one. Okay? Inuna ko na yung F, no? Okay, enter. Alright, so okay na yan. Inuna ko na yung F. Okay, questions, guys? Tama na ba? Hello, guys. Comments? Negative pa rin. Bakit? Anong gagawin ko, guys? Dapat positive to eh. So, anong gagawin natin? Any suggestion, guys? Pwede i-unmute nyo na lang. May gusto mag-suggest? Ang nagawa ko, negative F28 plus G28. Okay. So, ano dapat, Marian? F28 minus G28. Sige. Okay. Is equal to F28. Ba't ayaw pumasok sa F28 yung ano ko? Guys, sa inyo ba na-access yung F28? Ayaw pumasok. Ano ko na yung mouse ko. Ayaw, ba't ganun? But can anyone help me, guys? Bakit production failed. Rian, thank you. Ano ibig sabihin production failed? Di po kayo nakalag. Hindi, nagtatampo si Excel daw. si Rian sabi, production failed. Si Sofia na nagtatampo si Excel. Oo nga, ba't nagtatampo? Okay. Wala kayo napansin, guys? Wala kayo napansin? Hindi ako makapasok, tas nauuna laging 3-6, di ba? Ano napansin nyo? Ayun, tama si Mario. Baka nga talaga use of cash kasi yung Excel ko may magic eh. Hindi basta-basta papasok ng cell na alam niyang mali. Yun. Huwag na labanan. Ayan. So, ang answer guys, it's a use of cash. Bakit? Paano ba tayo nagkaka-short-term investment? Punta ka sa broker, bili ng T-bill kunyari. So, dapat maglalabas ka ng pera. Diba? So, it's a use of cash. Nagdagdag ka ng investment, additional na labas ka ng pera. Okay? Only it's financing, hindi siya yung sa investing. Okay, how about this? Accounts receivable. Saan siya papasok? Guys, it's already time. Can I have last 2 minutes? Quickly matapos lang natin to. No? Okay lang ba? Yan. Salamat guys. Kasi yung iba natapos namin hanggang dito. Sandali na lang to, no? Mga 2 to 3 minutes. No? Ayoko mabitin tayo. No? Okay. Thank you. Alright. Accounts receivable guys, saan to? Operating, investing, financing. Siyempre, operating yan. Okay? Source of cash, use of cash. Source of cash, use of cash. Nag-increase yung sales. Nag-increase yung sales, therefore, ano guys? Source of cash, okay? Source of cash. Sige, let's go. Let's finish this. Source of cash to, so, accounts receivable is equal to operating is equal to, yeah, source of cash. Okay, next. Siyempre, hindi ko na kayo lolokohin, guys, no? Hindi ko na kayo lolokohin kasi nakuha nyo na yung trick ko, no? So, it's not a source of cash, it's a use of cash. Bakit? Ba't siya use of cash? Kasi bumenta ka na hindi mo pa nakukolekta. Di ba? Nag-increase yung receivables natin, di ba? Ang receivables, guys, kaya nga receivables yan kasi hindi pa natin nakukuha from the ano yan, di ba? Yun. Gusto ko yung mga reaction nyo. Gets. Okay, good. Thank you. Nag-increase yung receivables, ibig sabihin, nagbenta tayo, hindi pa natin nako-collect. So, it's a use of cash. Bakit use of cash? Kasi bumili ka ng materials, bumili ka ng inventory para makabenta ka. Gumamit ka ng cash nun. Bumenta ka, hindi mo pa nako-collecta. So, asan na yung cash? Wala pa sa iyo. Andun pa sa customer. Okay, good. Sige. Tama riyan. Hindi pa siya nabawi, no? Hindi pa siya nakuha. Okay? Inventory, syempre, so, sagutin ko na guys operating yan, nagtaas yung inventory, syempre, of course, it's a use of cash, no? Kasi bumili tayo ng inventory. Yan. Okay, net fixed assets, saan to? Operating, investing, financing. Investing yan. Okay? Ang investing, guys, yan papasok yung mga investment in property, plant, and equipment, no? So, it's also a use of cash kasi tumaas yung PPE natin, no? Okay. So, a few more, guys. Accounts payable. This falls under operating yan, no? Kasi, saan ba nag-generate ng accounts payable? Bumili tayo sa supplier, okay? Hindi pa natin, okay, ano to? Source of cash or use of cash? Quickly, guys. Source or use? Okay, source yan, guys. Thank you. Source siya, guys. Kasi, hindi pa natin binabayaran si supplier. Nasa atin pa yung cash. So, in effect, parang source of cash yun. So, this is source of cash, so positive to. Okay? Ganon din, guys, si accruals. Na expense na natin, hindi pa natin binabayaran. Meralco, bill pa lang, hindi pa natin nababayaran. So, it's a source of cash. Notes payable, guys, may interest to. So, saan papasok to? Financing. Nag-increase din siya. Umutang tayo. Nag-increase yung payable natin. Source of cash. Okay, long-term debt, guys. Saan to? Long-term debt, saan? Financing din yan. May interest yan. No? Tumaas din. No? Okay, sorry guys. Alam ko may mga answer kayo. I'm sorry I'm not able to. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Marion. So, long-term debt, notes payable, financing yan. Okay, tumaas siya. Ibig sabihin, source of cash kasi nangutang tayo. No? Nadagdagan yung utang, pumasok yung cash. Okay. Sa equity, guys, sa shareholders equity, common stock, kung may change sa common stock, dito sa financing pupunta yan. Since equal lang naman siya, walang nagbago sa common stock. Okay. Zero yung change. No? Retained earnings, guys, hindi natin pinapasok yan kasi part of the net income yan. No? Part of the net income after tax. Magdo-double counting tayo pag pinasok pa natin yan. Okay, so yun na, guys. Yun na. So, sum up natin to. Sum natin ang operating. Okay? Yan. Operating, guys, source of cash natin. Nagbigay ng cash ng 72,838. Investing, gumamit tayo ng cash ng 15,750. Financing, may nag-provide ng cash na 21,562. And then, isum up natin to. Okay. Answer is net cash 78,650. Houston, we have a problem. Bakit? 2,250 to, no? Dapat equal yan. 78,650. Meron tayong discrepancy. So next meeting, guys, tapusin natin to. Hahanapin natin kung saan dito yung mga adjustments natin, saan tayo nagkamali. And then we're going to finish this. Okay? So thank you so much, guys. Salamat.